Hey guys, Trazroze here with another texture pack review. So this is the John Smith HD texture pack for 1.3.2. I'll put a link in the description below for the texture pack. So let's get this thing started with stone. It's quite simple, it's a nice little texture. So I guess could go with a little more smoothness, but it's alright nonetheless. Grass is pretty good. I enjoy the way that it's actually grass rather than some highlighted green stuff. Then we have dirt, and it kept wanting to grow grass, so I had to remove the blocks. So dirt is pretty good. Side textures don't meet up with normal grass, but it's alright once stacked underneath normal grass. So next we have cobblestone. That looks pretty good, and I just activated the redstone torches. Redstone lamps, or whatever they're called. Yep, lamp. So the redstone lamps are identical to the glowstone stuff. Yeah, just glowstone. Especially once turned on. They create a nice little bit of light. And the redstone is pretty nice. Got some nice little particle effects going on with it. That's about it to show you there. So next we have the woods. So we have oak, spruce, birch, jungle. Alright, the only real difference I could find with spruce and jungle was that they're kind of put on a different angle. So these ones go left to right, while jungle goes up and down. Pretty much the only difference I could find. Next we have bedrock. Looks alright nonetheless, and at a minimum at the bottom of the world, once I dig down to it, it actually blends in quite nice with the bottom. Just fix that hole up. So then we have gravel. Gravel looks alright. I guess it's not really the best way to show you, if I turn the music down, would be kind of, I guess it's alright to go across tops, and it has a nice little particle effect that appears every now and then. Oh, well, it's not a particle effect, but a nice little effect that it jumps up with, and usually that's created when you have a block on the side and it just follows on in the pattern. So then we have sand. Sand's pretty nice. It's really smooth and it looks good in a desert biome. And it mixes with pretty much anything along with glowstone. Then we have, again, our woods, just as their tree forms. So we have the oak, spruce, birch and jungle. Of course, jungle is not meant to be placed that way. It's meant to be sitting upwards. I really don't like how I have to fly up to place it down, but they look alright. The only one I had an issue with was birch. I mean, I didn't like the white of it, using it in large builds. So then the stairs are pretty much the same as followed back there, and again spruce has left to right and jungle has up and down. Then we have glass. Pretty nice, neat looking texture. And you can place multiple pieces down in a row, and it won't interfere with each other. Then we have sandstone. Sandstone looks alright, but I don't think it blends properly with sand. Because if we place down a small little cube here, and then maybe some around it, it doesn't really blend. It's too dark, to be honest, rather than removing that. But at the same time, I guess it's alright. It looks pretty nice when you're using it for houses and stuff. And then we have stone and stone stairs. Again, they're pretty good. Basic as well, but they're good nonetheless. Then we have our different coloured walls. The only one that wanted to be difficult was white wall. For some reason, it gives itself this little border. I don't know why, but it does. Just because it can. Hey. Oh, punching a hole in the world. Going to turn my render distance down a little bit. Starting to lag. So if we go all the way over here, and we get to light grey wool. I don't know what's going on with it, but I guess you could say it would be for building houses of stone. But nonetheless, it's alright. I guess I could get some stone to show you what I'm thinking of here. Oh, and stone also does the same effect as gravel. Don't know why, but it does. So what I was thinking was like how you get door frames and stuff. I don't really like how they added the effect onto it, because it breaks up that look, but at the same time, if you were in a mine, it looks really good. So moving on, we then have bricks. They look pretty good actually. I'm happy with them, to say nonetheless. The slabs are alright. I'll place that one on the top because it's meant to be a top slab. And again with the cobblestone and stone slabs, they all look alright. Now the top stone slab seems to give itself that top texture there. I don't know why. It's only when it's placed individually as well. And it doesn't want to do it for me now. Thank you for making me look funny. It's greatly appreciated. So then we have the trapdoor. Looks alright nonetheless, and I don't think you can really go wrong with it. And which leads us down to bookshelves. Look alright, nice, neat and organised, like as if someone actually lives in this world to sort them out. And then there's mossy cobblestone. I guess it looks alright at first, but if you find a dungeon, it doesn't mix well, and I'm not going to take the time to build one out there, just because it's not something that you review all the time in a texture pack. And yes, this is the texture pack world, as you could probably tell from the last video. And then we have obsidian. It is a really nice dark black. I mean, you can't really go wrong with it. The only thing is that it's hard to get. So it's not exactly the best for big builds, and can be compensated with for black wool. Nonetheless, it looks alright. I think I might light it up. So we got flint and steel, and you can see the portal. Portals look alright. They get their nice little particle effect going. They have their own little sand effect, as they always have, and teleportation screen doesn't bring anything up, unlike the normal texture pack for Minecraft, like default. So then we have the iron golem. I don't think there's a change in them. I don't really play the default texture pack enough to know, but fences look alright. They're good for big builds and stuff, and they blend with anything. And then we get to our miscellaneous objects, such as steel bars. They look alright, but I wouldn't use them too much because they do get overcrowding. And then we have steel doors. Again, they're pretty nice, and they have what looks like a little skull, however you want to pronounce it, as the handle. I don't know why they have a handle, because it's not like they can be opened, but nonetheless, they're alright. And then we get stone pressure plate. It's pretty smooth, and it does actually look alright on a floor. I mean, provided you don't mind having these cracks in it, but it could be done for tiling. Don't know what went on over here. So then we get to the rails. So we have our normal rail, detector rail, and golden rail. And I'll show you what a golden rail looks like when it's powered. There you go. Kind of opens itself up and allows for a nice easy push off. So then we have our torches. They look alright, and they have a nice little effect with them. The earlier version of this had much better torches, to be honest. I don't think anything's really changed, but it's enough to notice. Which leads us to fire. Fire looks pretty good, and when you get burnt... Actually, I should probably change myself to survival. Oops. Go steamed onto this, and it looks alright. It takes up most of your screen, but at the same time, it's nice to look at a little. So then we get netherrack and nether brick. Nether brick doesn't change at all between any of its textures, or objects I should say. So you've always got your dark square at the bottom, squiggly lined, straight, blurred. No matter what you're placing, that's how it is. And netherrack is actually quite nice, and it looks good if you're building something like a small hut. Or I actually made a mob spawner out of one of them, and it did look alright. So then we have water. Water looks pretty good in this texture pack. I mean, most people don't really care for water, but I like it when the water changes. I guess you could say it's just nice to look at something new all the time, and I just managed to destroy a boat with my bare foot. Maybe I should put some shoes on. But anyway, the boats look alright. Nice, clean, smooth texture about them. And when you sit in them, if I can get one moving, you don't get that really, really annoying bubbles at the bottom. I don't know if any of you find it annoying, but I do. So then we get flowing water. Flowing water looks alright, and I'm yet to find a water or mod really that I'm happy with the water. I have the shaders mod, but it doesn't work, and I really like shaded water, but nonetheless, Mr. Pumpkin looks pretty happy there. So if we go over to here, we then get normal pumpkins, and they do look like pumpkins. Rather than in the last texture pack, they look like orange wood. Then we have our diamond, emerald, gold, and steel block. I believe it's called block steel. It's actually iron, but anyway, I say steel. Then we have sandstone stairs. I think I've already showed you them. They look alright nonetheless. And then we get cacti. Cacti looks pretty good, and I kind of like it. It'd be nice for a home decoration, I guess, as long as you don't walk into it. So then we have our various ores. Starting off with coal. Quite easy to tell, and it looks alright. I guess it's well evenly spaced out, and doesn't really change that much, and it doesn't get annoying when you see it in the mine. Then we get lapis lazuli. I love building with lapis lazuli blocks, because they are just nice. They connect well, and they're a nice blue brick. They're the only brick really that's blue. I'm probably going over my words again, but anyway. Then we have gold ore. It can be from a long distance. I think I might have stuff in my way if I try to. From a long distance, it can be hard to identify from when you're looking at, I believe it was iron or redstone. You do get them confused. Trust me on that much. But then we get iron. Iron looks alright, and it's got its little nuggets in it. But nonetheless, it's alright, and we can live with it. So then we have lapis lazuli ore. You can't really confuse it for diamond. Trust me on that much. Whenever you walk through the mines, or you decide that you're going to do something with both blocks, you will tell which one is which. Which then leads us to emerald. Emerald in the mine you can mistake for diamond if it's dark enough, because they both have a single ore piece that's quite large in the middle, but from a long distance is hard to identify. But nonetheless, it's pretty good. And yes, I do use this texture pack a lot when I'm playing. But back to the miscellaneous, I believe I walked away from them. We have our jukebox. Then we get our nice little enchantment table, and I quite like it, and it's pretty nice, the inside look of it. And if I give myself a sword or a chest plate or something, you get these nice little letters and comes up nice and neat and polished off. So then we have our pistons. They look quite similar to each other. That one is a normal piston, and the lighter one with the greenish kind of splotch on it is the sticky piston. Then we have our music block. It's relatively exactly the same as a note block, only as a jukebox, but only the jukebox has a little circle on the top of it. So then we get our chest, and it has a nice little polished off side on the inside, and it looks pretty good around the edges. It doesn't really fit well with any of the woods, but you can compensate with that by getting some stairs and whacking them on top. Then we have TNT, and yes, I will blow TNT up at the end of the episode, like I do most of the time. I think I've only done one review, but I will blow it up at the end. Next comes the furnace. It's quite a nice little furnace, and if I was to whack something, say cobblestone and some coal in it, or charcoal, whatever, it does look alright going through. The sliding animation's a little patchy, but nonetheless it's good. And then we have our workbench, just 3 by 3, a little square on the top, and it's a nice little box. You can click on it, you got your little nails and saw and everything about it. A little out of the edge woods. It's pretty nice. I don't know why they put like wood coming like that, when if you look at the table it's a perfect square. At the least they could have polished it off. They just cut off those edges, I think. Would have made it look a lot better. But the beds look really good, especially if you have a dungeon or a castle or something else like that. They do actually look quite well with them. I'm trying to show you what they look like, but it's not really working in my favour here. Oh well. Nonetheless, it looks pretty good. So then we have lava. On the top it looks alright, and swimming in it's not the worst that could happen. It's a really light red, and the flowing animation of it's pretty good. I prefer flowing to still lava though. I don't really like the still look when you're trying to build something. So then that will lead us to our mobs, and I didn't spawn them in because they have a habit of despawning. So if we get some creepers, skeletons, spider, zombie, we'll show you slimes. I'll show you the ghast because they do change. So do zombie pigmen, the enderman, silverfish for now. Now I'll change my difficulty up. As I learnt in the last video, it's not a good idea to have it on easy or something because too many slimes appear. So we'll start with the enderman. We'll spawn him into his little capture cage in here. And they look, I think, identical to the classic texture pack. Only thing is they get that little particle effect going around them. I think that's the only change. Then we have zombie pigmen. And they do look like pigmen warriors. So if I punch one, they're probably not going to love me. Nonetheless, they make noise, and I really think their noise needs to be changed. Make too much noise for me. Then we have an accidental place of a spider. Spiders look pretty good, and there's no real random texture spiders, but nonetheless, they're alright. So that leads us to creepers. Mr. Sadface. And I think I might make this one a permanent creeper container and just place some water in there. So when I do punch him and he decides to blow up, I was hoping he wouldn't take the edge off, but he decided to jump at the last second. But I'll fix that when we get back, eh? So then we get skeletons. They don't change texture, except maybe that one. Actually, I've never seen him before. So skeletons look pretty good. If I get one to face me, they are trained to hold their bows, believe it or not. They get the nice little red eyes, and you can sort of see that they have a pretty good body structure. So then we get zombies. They don't change texture, but nonetheless, I will turn my sound down, they still look pretty good. So I don't know if it does it in the normal texture pack, like they flash red when you hurt them, but they do that nonetheless. So then we get slimes. Annoying slimes in a super flat world. And they look pretty good, I guess. They're alright. There's nothing really major about them, except maybe their eyes press into their head. But I think that's natural. So then we get... These guys didn't despawn. Sorry, mate. Sorry about that. We get silverfish and villagers. The silverfish, one of them decided to despawn, but they look alright nonetheless. And the villagers I quite liked. They look like real, legitimate villagers. The only thing is, they still have that cross hand. I don't know if you can change the textures of them to have their hands go down, but if they can't, then this is good enough, and I like the look of them. So they're pretty good nonetheless, and I guess we'll spawn a ghast in the open so he doesn't get killed instantly. Let him fly out. And they look pretty good nonetheless. Big white floating squares. I don't know if they change from the classic though, but if I get one to... There we go. Should look at me now. Yeah. So he gets that little frowny face going on there. But again, I don't know if they've changed from the classic texture, because I don't play enough to notice. And then that leads us on to something I noticed when I was flying around fixing the world other than that square earlier, because that will be our explosion square for the TNT. As I'm fixing this, I'll tell you about it. I noticed that the grass has different textures. So like the top of them, I'll show you this. Some of them have what looks like little leaves, I guess. And you can see it all the way across. And I'll once again set the time to 0. But nonetheless, it looks pretty good. And when you're flying around, it's nice to sort of see it. Like, it's not one of those burden blocks that is everywhere. I mean, it is everywhere, but nonetheless, it's nice to look at rather than having it just sitting in your face and annoying you all day. Which is alright, I guess. Kind of nice, but as accustomed to the end of my videos, I will explode some TNT. And that poor slime's going to get it. So I'll pick up one TNT block, fly over to here. Oh, I don't think I showed you cows. So the cows, sheep and others have different textures about them, along with the piggies. So you get your classic black and white cow and normal sheepy. Then you get your brown cow. I think they're the only two variations, and you do get different mixtures of pigs. If I can... I'll spawn a whole bunch of yours. So you get your clean and your muddy pigs. And they look pretty good. I mean, I'm happy with the way that they all turned out. So we'll go over to here. Get out some flint and steel. Fly on over. And light the TNT. So the TNT has the sad creeper face on the back of it, along with 9 sticks of dynamite in it. So we'll light that up, and that's it. Nice little particle effect. This was Trazroze. Thanks for watching.